Gold Family. The revenue is $2,600 and $600. So some of these permits, we just want get a resident permit or get a non-resident permit. Maybe you can have the Platinum, which is all inclusive, but the ones that are not generating revenue.
Oh, that's a perfect. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just make the
That was your suggestion.
Why don't we just make the permit 150, right? So in other words, get a little bit more on the permit. Family permit, make it 150, exactly. And make it 0.
I'll consolidate resident family and gold family.
Well, you have gold family at 190. I'm not sure.
You would eliminate that.
Because the revenue is $600 on that.
Right.
Yes,
You would
eliminate that. Exactly. Right. So you just make resident family 150, and you give them free beach access.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, if the idea is we make even more money on the permits than we would have just charging the daily admission, I guess that works. That's the concept, right?
Well,
yes.
Because even giving up $10,000, I mean, that's 1% of our total operating budget. So even though it doesn't sound like a lot in the scheme of things, it's not chump change based on the overall picture.
No, that's correct. And that's why if you were going to consolidate the permit structure, you would want to certainly raise the lower ends of those consolidations, if you will, so that you don't lose that revenue.
But what do you do? That's great for the permit holders, but what do you do about those individuals and those families who haven't been to the beach and they're not thinking about getting a permit, but you want to lure them in? What can we do for them?
You know what? I'll tell you what we're going to.
I'm not thinking of going to Playland, and Playland has a very attractive permit structure.
Mr. Supervisor, if I could. I'm joking. Why not have once a month
some free day?
Right, and say Ride Town Park residents free beach day, and we promote the heck out of it.
You need a rain date on a free day, right?
Well, no, you rain or shine.
You do something.
Yeah, I like
and
that.
Market
You promote it.
You're promoting it. You're trying.
You should do that.
I think it should be 1 day a week, though. No, once a month.
A week.
No, I think it should be 1 day a week.
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Is resident beach access free or something like that?
Not Wednesdays.
Or whatever. Tuesdays.
Whatever day.
Wednesdays are fireworks night.
Tuesdays
would be
ideal.
Yeah.
Residents get on the beach free.
Residents on the beach free day?
Well, we have the staff, so we can.
Yeah, whatever. Do you think Tuesday, Terry and Fred?
Does it drive the
So to lure them in.
levels to go up because we're anticipating more people?
I don't think about that.
All right.
Good. Other suggestions, comments on the fees?
I would point out that
We have to count them, though. We can't not count them. In other words, they have to be processed by the computer, otherwise we won't know what we've got.
Sure. But you want to monitor that because that's the whole reason we're doing is to see are we making inroads as far as getting them back to the beach.
So how are we going to count them going through the beach?
Well, they'd still have to go through the beach entrance
How would they
process.
count them?
Well, Bill, I'll let you.
That's
Bill,
the technicality.
we're running out of time. Bill.
We'll come out with something.
It's Jimmy behind you. He'll figure it out.
We got about another minute or two left, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
please.
Yeah. We're trying to pivot out of 2010 into 2011. And although there's been a lot of talk about progress in 2010, not to put a damper on things, but from a purely bottom line perspective, 2010 was a step backwards because in 2009 we had a loss of 105,000. The next year, this past year, we have a loss of 142,000. So from that point of view, things have gotten worse. If we don't want to have another losing year in 2011, I think we have to cut expenses. And our actuals for 2010 were revenues of $985,000. We are not going to make more than that in 2011. So right now we're projecting expenditures of $1,050,000. So from my point of view, between now and the next meeting, we must, if we want a balanced budget, we must cut expenditures by $65,000. Otherwise, we're going to have a loss again next year.
Okay, can I just say one thing to that, too? As you're looking at those expenditures, I think that there's some line items in particular that have to be looked at. For example, I looked at projected health insurance costs for next year. We're one-third less, and I don't understand that there wasn't one-third personnel. Accounting and legal were up substantially from the year before. There are a couple that were out of whack, and I'm not going to go into detail. Every line has to be examined, because there were things that just didn't make sense as I was reviewing it.
So what I'd like to suggest, Commissioner Sack, either, I don't know, Mayor French, if you want to do this at the Budget Committee level, but Commissioner Sack, I would love to have you take a cold, hard look at the expenditure numbers and come back and report to us next time. I think
Well, if I were running the park, that'd be really easy. Unfortunately, I parachute in here once every month. So,
Well, I think the thing is, though, from a policy perspective, I think we can, at least suggest. I mean, look, this is going to involve some analysis, right? I mean, Mr. Joffrey and Terry are here volunteers tonight, right? They're not on salary. We don't have, this gets to the more fundamental problem that Mayor French is talking about. But we don't really have a full-time person running the park year long. And so,
I'm not blaming the people. I'm blaming the system too. But my point is, unless a year from now
you
we're
have to be careful, because when you make these strong statements, what happens is, I don't know if anybody who knows Leopold Sedar Senghor. He's the former president of Senegal. He was elected to the Académie Française, and he was a poet philosopher. He was one of my political models, and the thing is, I love your suggestion, but then, of course, what Senghor would do is say, okay, Mr. Sack, thanks for the recommendation. Help us find a solution, because we don't have anybody on full staff right now. We have a longer-term solution, is review the operating model, and Mr. Nowotnik certainly can contribute. I'm sure he's happy to sit down with you. But, he's got a full-time job here at the town as well. He's not full-time on the right town.
What I'm suggesting, Joe, is if we do not cut expenditures in the 2011 budget, we're going to be sitting here a year from now, and we're going to be having the same discussion.
Hold on, excuse me 1 second, Fred. Sorry, Mayor French?
Well, yeah, we have a budget committee, Mayor Pilla and myself. We had a great meeting with Bishop. We came up with some cost-cutting ideas. We could take that a step further.
Okay.
And I think we include it deeper than 65, because I'd like to build in a contingency in the budget like we have. So if we do have overflow, we're not surprised at the end. So,
and then discuss capital budget as well.
Right. And then we'll also, Joe, to your point, I'll talk to Jean about ideas that she can see. That's our controller, on ideas for additional cuts.
Sorry, Mr. Joffrey.
Are you on board with that?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good. Terrific.
Sam, too.
With when we do the budget committee.
Wonderful. Great. Okay, so I think we've got a consensus.
We have a budget subcommittee, Mayor Pilla and myself and Bishop. And when we have our meeting, we'll invite you guys to come.
Thanks, John. Good. All right. Can I get a motion to bring? Oh, anything else before we close?
So we're not going to vote on these changes tonight?
No. I think we built a consensus on these changes. I don't think we need to vote for it tonight. I think we'll vote.
Terry, do you need to say something?
Please.
Terry?
Oh.
I'd really like it if the commission could approve these sooner than later, so that we could get a proper mailing out. That was our goal
last year.
And I would like to get the mailing out by the second week of March.
Okay, I think
How
there's,
long
actually,
does it take for you, if we were to approve it at the next meeting, which is on February 15th, would that give you enough time?
A week.
Yeah, then
well, I
definitely.
think that we need a commitment.
Well, we're pretty close on rates. I mean, I think
Rates.
we're in agreement on rates for the most part. It's just what the budget's going to be.
Didn't we,
Yeah, because, I want to get,
did we talk about opening up to
I mean,
county
credit
residents
comes
as,
down in
did we talk?
Right, I think there's a commitment here on the board, Terry. Thank you for that suggestion, to get the rates approved by February 15th,
Yes.
Yeah.
a historic day, and
And then I go away the next day.
More
wonderful.
historic.
Yeah, there you go, and more historic. Can I get a motion to bring the meeting to a close?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Very much.